Hello, it's Lindsay from the Vintage Button, and I'm here with a different idea than Junk Journal July. So if you watched my previous video, which was let me just check, because my brain is it was day 18, free. I talked about this idea. But basically, I'm looking towards the end of Junk Journal July, and what can I keep doing that sort of helps to build the momentum and to have a project. Now, this doesn't mean that every video I do after Junk Journal July will be this, but it does mean that I have something that I can reach for to make a video about. I would like the channel to grow. I'd like it to be relatively successful. That doesn't mean that I want this to be my full-time income or my career. But what it does mean is I want it to carry on building momentum. So in order to do that, from what I've read, from what I've listened to, I have to build some momentum, and that means keep posting. And I would like to have a project that's ongoing that would help me do that, that would give me a vehicle to do that. So I've come up with this idea. It's called Just One Book. So my whole sort of philosophy when it comes to junk journaling is that I try to, as much as possible, use things that already exist. Now, I can't do that. I do that with paints and stuff if I find them in charity shops. I buy, I will invest in nice pens, and I'll invest in stamps and ink. But the actual fabric of my books, I want to use stuff that already exists. Now, I do have scrapbooking paper, and I have specific craft items already in my craft room, but I don't want to buy paper, stickers, rub-ons, anything like that. I think I'll allow myself to buy napkins because I feel like they're very low waste, particularly with the plastic. But yeah, I just don't want to add more waste that ends up going in the ground. That's my thinking. Now, I'm not doing this in a preachy way, because I love a sticker. And if you want to do that, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying that this is like my creative journey. And I think there's elements of this that everybody can take something from. So what I want to do is take a book. Now, this is a book that I have several of. It wasn't a complete set, and I got them from the local supermarket we have in the UK called Tesco. Very often has a bookshelf by the tills. That's a charity bookshelf, and that I generally put 50p per book in, and I got a big stack of books, and I've made one journal from it, and I've got other ones. Have I got other ones that I've sort of got ready? So is that one? No, that's not one. I have a box next to my desk that's got unfinished journals in. But anyway, I do have one somewhere that's sort of nearly finished. So I thought I would take one book and I would see how much I could get out of that one book. Now, I can add things in. I can put paint and ink and stamps. I can put other things in. And the other thing that's new that I do is I print stuff off. Not huge amounts actually, but I do print stuff off. The Graphics Fair is my main go-to to sort of just add to my original ephemera, and I might start scanning my ephemera and stuff like that, because I've got a big box. That's going to be another video. So, but the idea for this is just one book. So all the things that I think that you use book pages for as a base, or make from book pages, I want to do with this book, and I also want to make a journal out of it. So this is going to be the just one. See, I buy stuff from Amazon. I'm not perfect, but this is my just one box book. Just one box, just one book box. There you go. Say that 3 times. Faster and faster. That's going to be the box. So today we're simply going to do 2 things. We're going to take this book apart. So we're going to gut it like it's a fish, and then we're going to decorate the box. And I might make a little thumbnail thing, because I make these sort of bits to put on the thumbnails, because I'm that low tech. Because I look at a screen all day. I don't want to look at it when I'm out doing my fun stuff. Not much anyway, as least amount as possible. I keep drinking my tea. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put the box aside for a moment, take the book and look at it. So I see how old it is. I think it's from the 50s from what I remember. It was like a book club set, you know, where you could join a club and you buy, yeah, companion book club. 1967. So it's not got tremendous age. It's of last century. It's older than me, and I'm half a century old. So, you know, it's got some age to it. And it's got some really useful bits. So it's got some good useful plain paper. That's always really handy. It's got some good useful plain paper there. Lots of good useful relatively plain paper that can be used to make labels and things like that. And it's got relatively nice patina on it. It's not bright white. It's got a nice creamy colour. It's not got any pictures in it. But that's okay, because I've got other books with pictures that I can use to augment it. This is just the base for lots of projects. It's going to be fine. So, I'm just going to start by cutting the book open. And I go very carefully. You could get like a scalpel. I would likely cut myself, particularly as when you're, this is what I've discovered from the, like, I think I've made about 20, might be over 20 videos, because I did a few before Junk Journal July started. It's like doing things when people are watching you. So if you think, like, I know it's only a camera, but you know, like if you're doing a task that you do all the time, but you have to demonstrate it for somebody, you get a bit nervous. Well, I do, and then I become fumbly because I'm a bit nervous. So that's why I'm not getting the scalpel out, and we're just managing with the little scissors, because I'm not likely to hurt myself and get blood everywhere. Was it make for a good Halloween book? We will be doing things for Halloween. I've got so many ideas, and it's so nice actually, because like I was just saying, I've just finished some training. My job now, I've always had creative jobs where I've had to use my creative energy for something that's outside of myself, and I've had to sort of burn that energy, and I would have ideas for myself but just not have the emotional or the creative space in my head to actually do it. And since moving to this job that I did just before Christmas last year, I can feel that tank refilling, and that's why it's the right time to do this for me. To give it a go, to say, oh well, I tried that, if it doesn't work out, or oh wow, I do this thing and it's really a valuable part of my life, so we're going to run with it. So it's very easy what I've done. Took the text block out even. We're going to put that to one side, and that's going to be our journal. This is the text block, and what I want to decorate, I need is my glue. I'm gonna get an office chair, guys. I am. So I've got some PVA glue. I've got some double-sided tape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick, I want the box to be really sturdy, so I'm not going to go with cutting the box up, but what I am going to do is just stick some double-sided tape down, which is hard because it doesn't grab. It's done that. I've got some wider tape somewhere. Let's put that to one side for a moment. You can't see me, but I'm just pressing that down. So yeah, so I'm just going to stick the box down. I've said before in other videos I've got some time off soon, and I'm going to sort of reorganise my craft room, because I don't actually tend to craft at this desk. I normally craft, there's a single bed behind me, so I would craft on the single bed, or actually craft downstairs. I would make myself a basket of stuff and craft downstairs, which I still will be doing that, because I think it's important, like, to be where everybody else is. You know, like, we might have a day where we all are sort of semi in close proximity to one another, but we're all doing different things. How are you all? I can't remember if I asked you that in the last video or not. That's the thing about doing things back to back. But the reason I'm doing this now is I've got like a free evening because my husband's going on a trip to see people. He's like blokey friends. Basically, my husband is from South Africa, and he has lots of friends who are from South Africa, and they all get together on occasions and do things together, which is good. So there's our box. Let's put... So I'm going to just take some of the book text block apart. Move the box out of the way, Lindsay. That's another thing, like when I do things on the bed that's behind me, I've got that the entire single bed to spread out, and this is just like well, let's see, it's 42 centimeters just for this bit, so I reckon it's probably 60 centimeters wide, this bit. Sorry, I don't I should probably get one with inches as well, but like a couple of centimeters is about an inch, isn't it, in my head? I know the formula for temperature, so for Celsius, if you want to make it so it's in Fahrenheit, because my mum does Fahrenheit because she's of that generation, we double it and we add 30 to get the correct temperature outside. But anyway, I digress. What I want to do is, this book has got signatures. Now, the signature pages, when they join, are actually glued, but we're not going to worry too much about it. But to get the most out of the book, I don't want to rip off individual sheets. I actually want the signatures. So I'm going to take off this first signature for what we want to do today. And this is how I would be a bit more careful than that. That's how generally my ideal way of taking apart a book, so that most of the paper is intact, and that if I needed to do something like with a larger piece of paper, I've already got that. So let's have a look and see. I've got a centre so that you can see. So look, I've got a centre. So that meant, like, for example, if I wanted to make a larger tuxedo pocket, I can do that because I've got 2 pages. Or if I wanted to make a larger envelope or any piece of ephemera, I just have more page to do that. If I wanted to put the pages in the journal that are the actual page size of the journal, I can do that with that. I can even use the existing holes to sew in my ephemera. And this is quite a strong paper. It's one of the reasons I chose the books, is because some books have got really weak, brittle paper, particularly if they've got any kind of age to them. But this has got it's quite strong. We're liking it. Okay, so I'm just going to take this first block. We're not going to use the blank pages because, like I said, the blank pages are so useful. We'll have a stamping session. We'll stamp some bits. So these blank pages, and then there's that, which is a single page. Take that off because that'll be useful. Is that another single page? It's just been... Oh, it's the single pages to they're useful for what we want to do. So I'm going to keep that. I'm going to put that inside the journal cover, as it's now called. I'm going to put the rest of the text block to one side, and we are going to decorate our storage box. so that I like an aesthetic look, and I know it's an Amazon storage box, but it's going to become our just one book box. And it's just going to be really simple. Whack some paper on. It's probably, the pages are probably a bit thick for this. If I was doing this, so like for my room, I have got boxes that are covered in paper, various boxes for different purposes. So I've got like chocolate boxes and small sort of boxes as ephemera holders, and they get covered in dictionary paper. And then I've got cereal boxes that I've sort of made into, you know, like the magazine cases that you sort of slot onto a shelf. Well, I've sort of cut them down so they're like small versions of that I use to put stamps in and envelopes that I've decorated, and that goes on my, I've got like we will call it a bureau. I think in America you call it like a secretary desk, that I found on the side of the road. Just before we moved into this house, we were looking to buy somewhere, and so I knew the house that we lived in was smaller than this, so I knew that we were looking to buy somewhere. And the house across the road, it's a very Cambridge, we were living in Cambridge, like basically in the city centre or close to the city centre, and it's a very Cambridge thing to do. I think they do it in other countries where you just put stuff out on the side of the road. They don't really do it where I grew up, but it is a very Cambridge thing. And the amount of things we've got off the side of the road, because I'm not proud, and I would much rather I use it than it gets put in the bin. So yeah, we were, I don't know if we were in the process of putting the offer in. I want to say that we were like in that process of putting the offer in, and then I saw this two pieces of furniture. So one was this writing desk or bureau or secretary, whatever you want to call it. I will do a bit of a tour of my room. I'll just tidy it up first. I'm going to put that like that. So yeah, so one was a bureau and one was like a big cupboard with double doors, and so I brought them both in. I got Miles to bring them in, and I painted one green, and I swapped the handles over from one to the other. So one's like an olive green with like a dark wax over it, and that's what's in here. And then the cupboard I painted black, and that's actually in our bedroom. It's like where he puts his clothes. So like, yeah, it is generally my philosophy. If I can find it and it already exists, that's really good. And I think that sort of sensibility has come from thrift, because like, you know, there's been times we've really not had any money. So it's come from thrift. But now it's kind of like I'm trying to be aware of what impact I have. Right, before we get too messy, let's do that on that side. So yeah, so I will use like my resources to make things look pretty and aesthetic, and I have this sort of vintage kind of collected vibe in my house. And I've always done it. I remember making storage boxes out of nappy boxes, like diaper boxes, and nappy wipes, baby wipe boxes. You know, because you don't just buy one pack, do you? You buy them by the box load when you've got a kid. Which are thankfully biodegradable now. Not that we need them, but when we do buy them. So we're not going, we're kind of I'm not going to use too many pages doing this. And it's just PVA glue. So PVA glue is like white school glue. And I've literally had this for years. And the bottle that it was in burst. I don't know how. I think it got trapped between something. I don't know if it was when we were moving house. It might have been sometime around there. And I just put it in a nice jar. So I thought, well, if you're going to make things, you know, you may as well, again, make it look aesthetic. So like it's got a nice label and it needs a good clean. I think once it's finished, I'll wash the jar out, put some more, you know, like that's how I'll keep my glue, my PVA glue anyway. Just keep doing that. Okay, let's that double-sided tape wasn't that great, was it? Let's just fold these bits in. Don't know how much is on screen or not. Okay. But like I've said before, it's weird doing videos. It's a little bit strange because it is like doing something when you're being watched. It makes me fumbly. Makes me fumbly. There we go. I also go quiet because I'm concentrating. But I don't think there's anything wrong too much with silence. It's not a bad thing. Then I guess you know, it depends on why you're here, what you're watching the video for. Because like I watch craft videos for ideas, but I also watch, like, I like just to be creative and have somebody with me, like kind of like have that creative company. So sometimes I'll put a craft video on for that. I mean, sometimes I'll listen to true crime and craft as well. It depends what frame of mind I'm on. I mean, really. I've only recently really got into true crime. And my mum always, like, she can fall asleep while she's listening about serial killers. And I always used to think, how can she do that? I don't know if it's a menopause thing. I definitely know how she can do that now. Well, it's a curiosity thing, isn't it? It's a sort of morbid curiosity. I'm not serial killers, is not my thing. Although I do like some murder, true crime. I'm just trying to work out. Yeah, so what do you listen to or watch when you're crafting? Do you watch another crafting video like me sometimes, or do you have like true crime on or documentaries? Sometimes I'll like listen to like a history podcast, or I'll listen to a wellness podcast as well. But then that feels a bit like work, so I don't do too much of that unless I'm like kind of, sometimes when I'm working and which is not very often, like I haven't got any clients and I'm up to date on all my training and all my paperwork, then I might like put a podcast on, listen to that. One particular one won't stick down. We'll get it. We'll get it. Oh, and now I've got my brush stuck completely in. So I'm gonna, once we've done this, I'm gonna go and feed myself and my child. Not had dinner yet. But it's been nice because I've had training for the past 2 days, and like both yesterday and today, because it finishes a little bit early, and I just can't get my head round. I answered a couple of emails and I thought, there's not really anything else I can do, and they basically sort of say if you've done training and it finishes, then that, you know, don't do anything else. So I finished 20 minutes early today. And it's like this, coming up here and talking to you guys and making these videos, it's been like a treat. And that's what I basically want it to continue to feel, to be that. So it's been like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go make a video and then I'll make dinner, and dinner's already in the crock pot. I sorted that out. Or sometimes my husband will make it. We are an egalitarian household. We both work full time. I'm going to leave that to the end. Let's see. Hold that in. Hold that. So, do anybody make storage like this? Or do you, like, there's a lady I know in a craft group that I go to, and she like got somebody to custom make a load of storage in her. She's got like a garden office room type thing. So she got one of the ladies' husband who has like a woodworking company. She got him to go and do it, which was really nice that things like that happened in that craft group. Yeah, so it's just nice to craft with other people. Sometimes that's what a crafting video will do. It sort of gives you that crafting company feeling. Sometimes I watch things during my break. I might have gone off the camera. So at lunchtime today, I had to work during the lunch hour because there were emails that I needed to answer. But I thought, I'm going to give myself like half an hour of this lunch hour that they gave us. So I watched a Tracy Fox video on making stamps. I made my lunch and then I sat and I watched this Tracy making ugly stamps pretty using book pages. And I was already thinking about the book page idea, and I was like, yeah, there's so much. There are so many videos that we can do under this playlist. And I'm making this storage box because I want to store everything we make in the storage box. So the idea is the book becomes this box full of things that are useful, and a journal that will have some of those things in it. There are other things, and that's why it's not going to be exclusively this project. I think that there is scope for me to do other things as well, and like Christmas is coming. You know, Halloween's always good. I used to decorate the house for like seasons, and I don't do that now because like my child is a teenager. I think such things are now beneath her. Although she kind of likes it. So for Christmas, I definitely decorate for Christmas, but I don't do like Halloween and Easter and, you know, like other seasonal things anymore. But I think I could probably do my room. Then I'll be able. That's motivation for a seasonal room tour. It's all kinds of things. Lots of ideas bubbling around my head. I need actually to take some time to write it all down. Now I've already run into a problem because this stuff's not sticking. Let's use the glue. Apologise if you can't see. What I'm actually doing is putting my sticky glue. It's just the end ones that are not sticking down. So I'm using my Colal glue, which I use in a little bottle. That now the weather's warmed up. I was having issues with that glue bottle. Now the weather's warmed up, it's working a treat. So yeah, I think you'll be able to see a bit more now. kind of want to finish it. I want to finish it. I'm not going to glue inside. I don't think I need to. I'm not going to like glue the paper inside. Although I might have to glue some other bits down, but I'll do that off the camera. And I might not glue much more down now on camera, just so I give you an idea of what it's going to look like, because I want to make my thumbnail element as well. So that's going to be our just one box. Just one box, just one book box. I may as well just glue it down quick. I'm very wary that this is boring, that you're not seeing the whole thing. If I do it now, it'll be dry quickly and I'll be able to put it all away. I'll have to find a spot for it. We'll see how long. I think that's what I want to see, is how many things can I make out of just one book, because I have quite the library of books that I've got just specifically to junk journal with. So it would be interesting to see, you know, what exactly I could get out of it. I mean, I will be using other books and other bits and pieces in it. It's just that I think the rule is that the main bulk of whatever item of ephemera has to, you know, the basis of it has to come from this book. But like I said, I don't think that that's going to be a problem. I think that we're going to get quite a few bits of ephemera, and I might tie it into some other bits and pieces. So like if I see a Roxy Weekly challenge or something like that that resonates and think, oh, that'll go in with a just one book, then I will add it and just sort, you know, like give that as my source of inspiration. So that's my box. I'm not going to do underneath, but you could completely cover it. But that's my box. I'll put that to one side. I've got sticky fingers. Put my glue brush away. Put my lid back on my glue. Got really sticky fingers on there. Put my napkin. There we go. Put that to one side. So I have like these things that I use to do my thumbnails and really have kind of helped me create a bit of a brand identity. And I mean, like, this is something I would use on my craft stall anyway, sort of as a little banner. So we need to do a just one book. No, I don't want... Ooh, what's that? Yeah, that might work actually. So we're gonna whip like that. Right, I might do some spraying. Let's do this first. I can't do all that fancy lettering, but what I can do is make my writing just look a bit fatter. I might put some like toddles on the end. Yeah, do that. That makes it look a bit fancier. going quiet, I do apologise. But there you go. A different way of doing the fancy writing. We're going to do some sprayage. Spray, 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 spray. If we do, I don't necessarily want the writing to be sprayed. But we can make like, one of the things I do want to make is like a neutral snippet roll. So this is perfect for this project because I've got other bits and pieces from like the stuff we've been doing here that I could just use and add to it. Is that going to be alright, or do I need a bit more to mask it off? As you can see, I'm really high tech. Like stuff like this. I'll use anything. That's alright. I'm going to turn that way because that's a more interesting edge to it. Cover that up. I should have my... I don't know this, I'm going to disrupt it now because I quite like my green mat. I don't mind if it got a bit messed up, but I don't want it to like completely get sprayed up. But we made like a covered paper clip in the last video. You know, like there's stuff like that we can do. There's just so much. I'm gonna be really happy having a play, really. Come on, Lindsay. I should have just got my washi tape out. But why, when I can make my life more complicated? That, I mean, that is generally the only thing I'll use washi tape for. Again, it's not something that I will be looking to replace. I'm enjoying my purples at the minute. Bit of the blue. A bit of the metallics. Oh, the little boy's playing outside next door. Sweet. Okay. Let's be careful. Lifting these bits up. I do have tweezers somewhere, but I don't know where they are. I will when I do my big sort out. What do we think? I like it. I'm just going to get the heat gun. I definitely need to clean off this chair. This is a very squeaky chair, and I've just knocked the light off. What have I done? Getting it all here, folks. Has that not worked? Right, that's something I definitely need to sort out. It's on an extension cord, and this doesn't have a very long lead to it. So that's 2 lighting fails of as many videos. there. What do we think? Put some gold. Sticky mat. I need to clean that. Have we got any baby wipes handy? No, they're over there. We'll just deal with it and then we'll deal with it when I've finished. So, I quite like that. I want to add a bit of gold to it though, because I like me gold. What do I want to do that's gold in it though? I might put like a border, gold border. Yeah, I like that idea. Let's put some white stars. Because I like a bit of starry nightness. We'll have to go over them again when everything's properly dry. Yeah, well, I can see the fading back. When everything's properly dry, I'll go over that. I just put a white dot in to remind me. You can hardly see where I've put those ones. It's just because the paint is wet. Like, if the paint was really dry, I wouldn't have a problem there. I think it needs another like border. I think it needs to go back black. That draw on that, will it ruin the pen? Yeah, it does. It needs another border. Not a big one. Just a something. Just got a sense of deja vu then about doing these little twiddly bits. I think I remember painting a picture when I was doing my art GCSE, and I put little twiddly bits somewhere in. Was it for the art GCSE or was it for another? I don't know. It was definitely at school. I saw my old art teacher when I went back home up north. It wasn't the last trip, it was the trip before. And we saw her in Home Bargains of all places. And I said to my mum, who's that woman who keeps looking at us? There was my mum, me, my husband and my daughter. And she said, do you not recognise her? And I was like, no, that's your teacher. And I was like, it's not. And she went, yeah, it is. That's your art teacher. So I thought, well, I should say something to her. So I actually followed her out like a loon. But then she was looking at me. I wouldn't have noticed her if she hadn't looked at me. And I sort of said, is it such and such? And she went, yeah. And so we had a little chat. And I actually said to her, I actually really regret not doing more art. For one reason or another. I was due to do like it was an art foundation course, and I changed my mind and did sort of social science stuff instead, which, you know, it's all part of the journey, and in some ways I don't regret that because it's given me a good understanding of stuff, and my degree is in something completely different that I don't use at all other than the critical thinking that it taught me. But you know, you kind of do, you get a bit reflective in your older middle-aged years, and so I was this little bit reflective, and I sort of said, you know, you should never have woulda, shoulda, couldas. It's not a good way to be thinking. But that is one regret, was that I didn't pursue art, didn't do that as my degree, or do a degree in it, because I guess I could have done both at some point, the degree I did and an art degree. But I think I would love to do art therapy, but you have to study like years and years and years, and I don't have that much time left, so I can't. But I do think sometimes, oh, that would have been really good to be an art therapist. And I've done things in my job, like in other jobs, where I've done very similar things to art therapy, but obviously I couldn't call myself an art therapist because you gotta do a lot of work. Yeah, I would have liked to have done that, but yeah, there's no point. The should-haves. That's very negative, toxic thinking, as I've just had the refresher on in CBT training. I am not a therapist. Don't think I'm a therapist. I'm not a therapist. I have to be very clear about that. Look at that. I'm liking it. Do I want a bit of pink in it? Pink? Do you know, I've never done as much pink as I've done recently. Although you probably look back in my journals and you'll be like, that's pink, that's pink. But, not like intentionally make it pink. So I think, like, junk journaling, and even this channel is about clawing back some of that. I wish I'd done some art. Like, it's making art a project in my life that has some significance, and some identity to it. That's my thinking. So I don't know why you do junk journaling or slow stitching, because that's my other thing. This is definitely a junk journal project. Yeah, why do you do it? Let me know in the comments. I love getting comments from you. Sorry for knocking the camera. I do love getting comments. So that's going to be our just one book. So, one book, one box. Hopefully absolutely full of ephemera. Just one book. I hope you join me for it. I think it'll be something that'll be fun. I think it'll be really interesting to see how we can stretch ourselves. Yeah. So please join me. Do the YouTubey things. Hit like, comment, subscribe. If you've got any ideas, put the ideas down and we'll add it. I think I'm going to start my next phase in looking at my channel, because we did the banner, is playlists and the community tab. So I'm really interested in that, because I feel like that could be like a mini blog, because I do have a blog that's inactive and I just don't get on with WordPress and like all that back end. I don't want to be staring at a screen. I just want to write something and add some pictures. And I actually think my community tab would be that, and it would be something that you'd be able to interact with. So I might do a little post, like a little standing post about this, and put that on there, and we'll see how we go. But this is the first video in my just one book series. thank you very much for listening. I hope to hear from you. And I will be back tomorrow for more Junk Journal July. And I will be thinking about this, and I'll be posting something on the community tab about my ideas. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye-bye. Oh, we're still recording.